Thank you, Newman, for, as I called you, becoming the voice of Joyce for this evening on short notice. I appreciate it. You know, Newman has been very successful with last year, so I figured he knew every trick as well as Joyce, since they were both part of last year's Be a Gift to the World. And so I thought I'd let him be a gift to me, and today help all of you become Rotarians Serving Humanity this year.
Thanks, Rosine. So let's go ahead and get started right to the citation. Just as a matter of a little bit of housekeeping, I'm going to go ahead and mute everybody. If you want to speak, you know, feel free to do that. Unmute yourself, and because we are recording this, and I want to make sure that we don't have any background sound that causes a problem. But feel free to chime in if you have a question. And I won't be looking at the notes. So Joyce, if you see those come in, if you would let me know, that would be helpful. All righty, let me clear the screen. Hopefully you can all see the screen. What I have on the screen is the presidential citation. And I noticed that all of you have put in your 10 goals. So that's great news that 100% of the clubs have finished the first of the 2 mandatory activities. The second mandatory activity, of course, is to pay your semi-annual dues. Now, I think most of you are aware that you, as the club president especially, can go in and see the status of whether you've paid your dues or not. If you haven't already signed in, you can go ahead and sign into My Rotary. And the way you can check that is there are always many ways to do it, but you could go to Manage and then go to Club Administration. And there may be a delay for this, and then the first item that you generally will see is your club invoices. And so you could go to that and look at the invoice for your club and see whether you've paid it or whether you have any balance due. Sometimes the treasurers may pay an amount but may be missing, you know, a few dollars, and that can you know, that can create a problem sometimes. So as president, I would encourage you to go and take a look at the dues and make sure that they are paid and you don't have any outstanding balance with Rotary International. And of course, you would have to do this in January as well to confirm that the dues have been paid. And that item will not be completed until the January dues are in as well. So if you go online and look at the status of your presidential citation, and you don't see the semi-annual dues, it doesn't mean that you haven't paid your July dues. It just means you still have to wait till January before that will be indicated. Of course, I think Joyce said this, and you know, the presidential citation can always seem like a daunting task for any president coming in. But there really are a few tricks to achieving the presidential citation, and every club in our district has the capacity to achieve it. So, you know, you should pay attention to what the strengths are in your club and take a look at those items that you can achieve first. So let's start with membership. Membership, of course, is always the hardest thing to achieve, and that's where most of our clubs struggle. But as you can see under membership, you only have to achieve 2 of the goals. And the first one says you have to have a net gain. But a net gain from what? Some of you may ask. Rotary International sets the number of members in your club supposedly on July 1st. They don't release those numbers really until September, but they are the numbers that always show up on all of the reports. Here's one of the reports we look at the district level. And as you can see, each club has a membership number. And that's the number that Rotary considers as your starting number on July 1st. And the comparison number will be the number of members that you have in your club on July 1st, 2017. So for the Angier Club, for instance, their starting number is 15. So of course, plus 1 would be 16 if they wanted to show a net positive gain. And this is important because I think many club presidents sometimes look at the number on either DAC-DB or they may look at a number on some other form, and they may think that they have a different starting number, and so then their calculations are wrong about how far they've got to go. So look at those numbers and know what your starting number is. It'll make it a lot easier for not just the membership, but also for your calculations for foundation and some of the other items as well. And so similarly, if you were in the Carry Club, of course, your starting number was 101. So of course, Carry Club is above 50. So they are considered a large club. And so they would have to have plus 2. So they would have to go to 103 to achieve that requirement. So let's go back to the presidential citation. Now, when you look at the requirements, you've got to achieve 2 of these. And as you can see, if you achieve this last item, because of the focus on young professionals, if you bring in 2 members, if you're the Carry Club, and you bring in 2 members that are under 40, or actually they would have to bring in 4 to meet this item, 51 or more, have to bring in 4, then you automatically achieve item number 1. So every club president, as you're planning for your membership goals, think about item number 3 and really try to achieve that. Because, as I said, if you achieve that, then you've achieved your 2 items for a membership. The retention is difficult for a president to kind of manage during the year. But, you know, if you're doing well in retention, you'll do well and you'll get that checked off as well. But focus on your under 40 new members, and I think that will be a good strategy to achieving the membership. So foundation giving. Here again, you know, look at those items that will give you the best chance of achieving at least 3 requirements. Most of you, I think, are aware at this point and have seen the report that Rotary Foundation produces for each club. It's called the Club Fundraising Analysis. I'm sure Rosine has given you multiple copies of it. And that's a great report that you as a club president can use to not only see the status of your club from month to month, but also it gives you a chance to see where you are on your per capita giving and the various other items on the foundation. So I would highly encourage you and certainly would encourage assistant governors to go ahead and periodically review the fundraising analysis report and see where you are and see where your progress is with regard to foundation giving. It'll take a while for that to show up. So while that's loading up, let's just go back and look at the items. As you can see, if you achieve the $100 per capita for your club, you will automatically achieve the $26.50 and the $5.86, unless you have only 6 members in your club. And I don't believe there's any club in our district that only has 6 members. So all of our clubs, if they achieve the $100 per capita, should be able to achieve the other 2 as well. Many clubs in our district have already gone ahead and included the either $50 every 6 months, or they go ahead and do $25 quarterly to get this $100 per capita. So if your club is doing that, that's a great way to achieve all of the requirements in the foundation part. And it's also a great activity for your club to be involved in, because you achieve that every year in terms of the $100 annual giving. So if you haven't used this report, it's available to you as the club president, and you will only see your club since I have district privileges. I can see, at least for this year, all of the clubs in the district. And so you'll probably see the Angier Club pop up first here on the screen. But as I said, you should be able to see your club report, and you should be able to identify your 5-year trend, so you can see where your giving has been over the past few years. And you can use those numbers to motivate giving within your club. And since this is the 100th year anniversary of the Rotary Foundation, it's a great way to motivate your club members to really give, and reach a 5-year high in giving for your club. And I think that correspondingly will, really take our district at a much higher level. One of the awards we received last year was our district was second in our zone for per capita giving, and I believe 19th or 17th in the world as a result of that. So this year as president, you have the capacity to make us first in the zone, and perhaps at a much higher standing in the world as well. Well, that's still working on it. So there we go. Finally, it shows up. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to the Durham Club, since that's my club. And as you can see, you got your current year-to-date figures. You can see where you are. You can see your per capita number. You can see how far you are from achieving that $100 per capita. And so just a great report for you. And here's that membership number as well. So you can always look at that, and that's your starting point for July 1st. So just a great one-page report that will allow you to identify where you are in terms of your progress towards the citation. So that's the foundation giving. Are there any questions on the first two parts? Okay, since I'm not hearing any questions, let's go ahead and move on to the online tools. This can sometimes seem like the most difficult one for clubs to achieve, but it really isn't. You only have to achieve 2 of these, and Joyce has gone ahead and highlighted which ones are the easiest to achieve. Really, the easiest one is putting an initiative on Rotary Showcase. All of our clubs do an amazing amount of service activity, and we should be going ahead and promoting those activities on Rotary Showcase. So I would encourage every club president, even if nobody else in your club puts up an item, you as the president should go online and you should go ahead and put an item in Rotary Showcase, and that will get you credit for that for your club. Now, the important thing to keep in mind is many of our clubs are involved in collaborative projects, and so we may have a project where there are 5 or 6 clubs. It does not count if one club puts the information in for the other clubs. So for instance, if the Southwest Durham Club puts in an item for the Million Meals or the meal packaging event that we do on MLK Day, only the Southwest Club gets credit for that. So if the other Durham clubs and the other participating clubs in that event want to get credit for that event, each of those clubs has to put in a separate item in Rotary Showcase. So just remember that as a club president, that you want to make sure that any of those collaborative events, somebody in your club goes online and puts in that item for your club on Rotary Showcase for you to get this credit. Also, another easy item, and this is particularly important for assistant governors, is to have two members participate in a discussion group on My Rotary. So if the area assistant governor creates a discussion group and invites the president and the president-elect of all of the clubs in the area, you've achieved that, and that would give you your 2 online tool requirements, and you're done. So that would be the easiest way to kind of achieve this online tool requirement. The first one It's not always easy for the larger clubs to get that 50%. In a smaller club, it's a lot easier. But I would encourage you to really try to get your club members signed up. There's a report that you can download. Any of your AGs can help you with that. Joyce can help you. I can help you with that. And if you need help downloading the report and you're not aware of it, you can use that report to identify which members in your club are not signed up to My Rotary. And then you can bring a few laptops to your club meeting, and if you have Wi-Fi available, in 2 steps, you can go ahead and sign up a number of members of your club and kind of hit that 50% easily. It just takes a little bit of planning to do that, but it certainly is achievable. And there's a real benefit in getting your club members to sign up to My Rotary, because then they can access all of the tools that are available to them as a Rotarian on My Rotary, including looking at their giving history. They can check on a lot of important stuff and just become familiar with the online face of Rotary. So again, just something to think about, and it's a good project to plan for your club, maybe for a meeting or 2 meetings in the year, and that would be a way to get those 50% or higher of your members signed up.
Hey Newman,
Right.
can
Yes.
I just add one thing real quick? On the discussion group in My Rotary, just one thing to remember is that when the members join, 2 things. So if they are not public in Rotary, when the assistant governors go in, they can't invite them. So they'll have to ask them specifically to go in and join that group. But the other thing to remember is you have to join and post at least 1 comment. So to actually get it to register online, you have to actually comment at least 1 time. So you can join the group and say, hey guys, and that'll get you your credit. But you can't just join, you have to actually post a comment. That's it.
Thanks, Joy. Yeah, and that's important to note, because last year I know some of the presidents signed up pretty late in a group that I created, and we were waiting for the for the item to change, and it didn't, because they hadn't posted their comment yet. And it can take 2 to 3 days for the presidential citation to be updated. And so it's a good idea to go ahead and do those things now, and just kind of get that done so that you get credit for it and you're not having to do that at the last minute. So again, I encourage you all to go ahead and do that sooner rather than later. Okay, so the next is humanitarian service. This is probably the easiest one to achieve. Most of our clubs have already achieved it. Part of it is our district this year, Racine and her class of district governors did a global grant project that our district was a part of. And so that really causes us to have achieved a few things where, your club basically participated in a large project that at least 5 Rotary clubs were involved in the region, so you get credit for that. Now, here's an important thing you need to pay attention to. Some of the items say report in Rotary Club Central. So these items, any item that says report in Rotary Club Central, you as club president have to go in and actually say that you've done those things. So even though all of our clubs should get credit for this, you will not get credit unless you as club president go in and put in that item. So where do you put in that item? So if you go to your My Rotary, and of course you go to Club Central, you can go to it many ways. Easiest way is to click the View Goals, and that will take you to Club Central. And then it'll take a few minutes for that to load up. So while that's loading up, we can still look at some of this other stuff. The second item is have at least 1 club member attend grants management seminar. Hopefully 100% of our clubs will have sent 2 members to attend this by the end of the year. It really is important that our clubs do that. So just by each of our clubs sending 2 members, you will have achieved this as well. So again, that has to be reported in Club Central. So you have to make sure you go ahead and check those boxes. Also, this item, establish a partnership and conduct a project with a corporation or a government entity. That was certainly true of the Rotary project, the global grant, but so many of our clubs are doing partnerships with Habitat for Humanity, Ronald McDonald House. All of those count. So as you can see, all of our clubs should have already achieved 3 of the items in the global grant. You just need to remember to go ahead and check these items in Club Central. So here we are. I think you all are aware that all of the items for the Presidential Citation are listed under the Service tab. So you have to first go to the Service tab in order to see the items, and then here they are. And they say Presidential Citation goals, and you need to go ahead and make sure you go ahead and check the items. So make sure, again, don't wait till the end of the year to do this. You can go ahead, every club in our district can go ahead and decide, do you do a project in partnership with at least 5 other clubs in your region? Go ahead and say yes.
Can I just add one thing? This is Christine. The Happy Feet project, basically, where we're collecting the tennis shoes, would, because it's a district-wide, would give you the 5 clubs. It would also give you a partnership with a not-for-profit organization if you do not do something else in your club. So don't forget that. Correct.
Absolutely. Thanks, Christine. And so, and there's also the Dominican Republic project if members of your club participate. So all of our clubs will receive these items. So, please go ahead as club president, and if you're online now, I'd say go ahead and do it now and put that behind you. So all of our clubs should have achieved this. For the most part, it's already done. Hey, Shafi.
Hey, this is Nathan.
Hey, Nathan.
Do you mind going back to that sheet? I'm on Club Central right now, and I went to reports and service.
Not reports.
How'd you get that?
You want to be on Club View.
Club View. Okay, it's loading. 1 sec.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay,
yeah, all of your goals should be entered on the Club View, and then you would click the appropriate tab.
Okay. All right, got it.
You there? All right.
Yep.
Fantastic. So same thing with new generations. You're going to have to make sure and enter some of these items. The vast majority of our clubs sponsor Youth to RILA, so they should achieve those. So go ahead, and if your club will be sponsoring youth, go ahead and check that box so that you get credit for it. Similarly, if your club sponsors a Rotaract club, that goes automatically. But here again, the trick is, if your club sponsors a community Rotaract club, you get credit for 2 items, both the community Rotaract club and the Rotaract club. And so if you have a community Rotaract club that you sponsor, and you sponsor a Youth to RILA, you're done. And of course, if you have an Interact club, you should use that. This year, there is a requirement. Last year, we had a number of our clubs sign up for the Rotaract club because we only have a couple of Rotaract clubs in the district. So we had, I think, 5 or 6 clubs co-sponsor a Rotaract club. This year, Rotary is saying that a maximum of 3 clubs can sponsor a Rotaract club or an Interact club. So, go ahead and get one started or co-sponsor it if a club already exists and there's room and you can be one of the 3 clubs. And I think it's a good idea for our clubs to collaborate on things like Interact clubs and Rotaract clubs because then it takes the burden off any one club having to do that. And so I would really encourage your club to be in partnership with other clubs for both Interact and Rotaract. And of course, even if you don't sponsor an Interact or Rotaract club, you can always invite Interactors to your club projects, to activities that you're involved in, to your service projects. And so you can get that checked off as well. So here again, you have a number of ways you can achieve the 3 items that are required. And of course, if your club hosts a youth exchange student, you can check that box off as well. In this item, as you can see, the vast majority of them, as club president, you've got to go in and report that that you've done that, unless you are sponsoring a Rotaract club or Interact club. So again, be sure to go ahead and do that. And last but not least, of course, is the public image. You only have to do 1 item in this, and of course, many of your clubs are going to be involved in hosting a community event in partnership with other Rotary clubs to celebrate the Rotary Foundation. And if you've done that, you've achieved it. But if you're doing that, you might as well get some media coverage, and then you can achieve the other 2 as well. So hopefully you can all see that there are some tricks to achieving this, but it's really very achievable, and every club in our district should be able to achieve the presidential citation this year. And I will say this, because the membership can often be the most challenging, and sometimes there's a tendency that, hey, I don't think I'm going to get the membership numbers, so they don't put any of the other items in. And I would caution you not to do that. Go ahead and and make sure that that you are putting those in as you go, and that you get credit for all of the other items as well. I want to say there's also an exception with membership, and in that, if you are one of our 2 new clubs that started this year, the Cartar Rotary Club and the Rotary Club, what's the other name, the one that meets at the Spring Roll restaurant?
Parkside.
Parkside. Thank you, Racine. If you're one of those 2 clubs, you get an exempt from the membership requirement. So you automatically get that checked if you belong to a new club that was just chartered. But for the rest of us, we have to make sure we try to meet that membership requirement. And it looks like from the data, our clubs are doing really well recruiting folks. So focus on those under 40 members, and keep in mind that just as Joyce informed you about the groups, that you need to not only join the group, you need to post it. There's more than one requirement here as part of the under 40 members. So not only do you have to have them inducted, they have to create a profile on My Rotary. And a profile, if you're not aware, is more than just signing up for My Rotary. A profile, you actually have to go up here and go to your profile under My Rotary and fill in information here. So so that's what you need to do. So that's what your under 40 members need to do. And they're going to need your help, because most new members don't know about My Rotary. And so I would say, as a club president, try to make sure that you have a team in place in your club, or have one member who's responsible for reaching out to all of your new members, helping them sign on to My Rotary, and then creating this profile. Because if you create that process, then it'll be easy for you to go ahead and achieve the requirements that are needed for this item as well. Because if you don't do that second piece, you may have brought in the new members, but then you won't get credit for it. So make sure you do those things as you go along. Well, that's all I have.
Hey, Newman.
Yes.
Real quick, we had a question. So the question was, I think a lot of people might have this question. You're talking about the club presidents putting in the information, and the question was, is that the only position, or can other officers input data into Rotary Club Central? That's
a great question, and the answer is yes, other officers can input the data. So the officers who have these privileges are the president-elect, the Rotary Foundation chair, and the secretary and treasurer, depending. So so you've got usually 4 to 5 people who can, unless you've got somebody serving multiple roles, who can go ahead and enter these information on behalf of your club. And you can always reach out to your reliable assistant governors. Your assistant governors are a great resource for you, or even District Governor Racine can help you with that. So if you're unsure and you need some help, reach out to them. I know Racine has offered to come to your club and talk to your club members about the presidential citation. I know the AGs will be happy to help you and probably will work with you as club presidents throughout the year to make sure you're making progress and going ahead and putting these things in. So you reach out to any one of them, and they all have privileges to do that. So you're not alone.
Newman, could you go back to that service tab where you check off the places, the things that you've done, your club has done? I think it's the second tab up at the top.
There you go.
You still have it up there. Yeah.
Yes.
When you click on edit,
Yes.
it has 2 lines for each one. It has a line for achievement as well.
Correct.
You just put yes for both lines.
That is correct.
I don't understand that.
That is
Okay.
correct. So basically, what you're doing is, if you've done the first one, hopefully, is you already did when you set your goals. And if you didn't,
I think Gail must have missed the,
yeah.
Missed this tab. We set some goals, but I think maybe not this one.
Right. And
that
so
makes sense.
I would say, if you're at it, I'd go ahead and set yes to all of those for the goals.
Yeah.
And then,
Okay.
certainly come back and then set yes, to achieving the other ones. So I'm going to go ahead and do BC Dash a favor and click yes to a couple of these. So, all right, so that's it. Joyce, did you have any?
So I switched it over to my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
So you can see here Southwest Durham, where we've done, our club has done a couple of these where we've gone ahead and gone in and checked. So if you just go to that edit tab there, like Newman just said, you can easily go in there, and you have to make sure to mark yes and then achieved. And then the most important thing is to make sure you hit the save button.
Correct.
That's it. All right, does anybody have any other questions? I think that about wraps it up. So if you guys, thank you, Newman, for taking over this evening so everyone didn't have to listen to my proud voice. If you guys have any questions, just remember your AGs are always available to help with this. Racine is available. Newman will post this video on the President's Workspace that you guys all have access to, and I would assume that Sharon will also email it out to the group. So for those of your fellow presidents that weren't able to join us tonight, they can also get the benefit. But just make sure, if you guys have any questions, we're here to help. So don't hesitate to reach out to one of us.